Okay, we are going to do one more questions about this topic, and then we'll go back to word problem, okay? So before the break, we went over some of the common mistakes, okay, when you are doing expanding. So watch out for the exponent. When you can bring it to the front, make sure only one base on the inside. And then the other one is if you have to subtract more than one thing, you need brackets. Okay, it will make the sign change. Now let's practice going backwards again. Okay, so question C on the top here, write as a single logarithm. Okay, so meaning at the end, you want to have just log and then everything put it back inside. Okay, so kind of like question A. Okay, but what's different about between A and C is that this time in front of log, we have numbers, right? We have the 4, we have the 1 over 2. So you need to throw it back into exponents. Okay, so your first thing is the 4 will go back up, become A to the 4. Okay, minus log B, that one doesn't do anything. Okay, the 1/2 will also go back up to C. So log C to the half. Okay, any questions so far? So our first step that we did is just to put all the exponents back. And then now if you see subtraction, right, there's a subtraction. That means you are dividing. This is adding, that means it becomes multiplying. Okay, when they go inside. So you just follow that. What you can do is just draw a fraction like that. A to the 4 on top, subtract means divide. So divide by B, so B you put it at the bottom. Okay, adding means multiplying, so that should go to the top. So C to the half. C to the half, you can also write it as square root. Okay, so this one, not so much trap, okay? What you see is what you do, right? You see subtract, you put divide, put it at the bottom. You see adding, you put it at the top, numerator. Okay, so this one is pretty easy. It's more things to watch out when you are trying to expand. Okay, simplifying is usually easier. So your homework will be will have to have practiced something like this. Okay, like question A, simplify, evaluate, or put it expanding, or put it as single ones. Okay, and of course some question on page 95. Okay, so any questions so far? Can you raise your hand if you got everything here before we move on to word problems? Okay, Nick, any questions? Okay, so the word problem where we skipped last time was on page 91. So there are two kinds of word problem. First kind is called the compound interest. So it has to do with calculating money, okay, how much money you earn over a certain period of time. And then we have a formula for that. And then anything that grow or decay, right, decrease over time exponentially, that's a type 2, okay? We also have a formula for that. Okay, so why do we put the compound interest here? Okay, because everything we've done here has got to do with exponents. Okay, so when you have money that is increasing with compound interest, there's an exponent involved. Okay, so we'll just show quickly how the formula is being derived. So suppose here, okay, Jason has saving of 1,500, okay, on which he is earning 6.5% per annum interest. So annum means year, right? Per year. And each year you get 6.5% more, okay? And compounded annually. So what that means, you get the bank will pay you interest, right? Give you extra money once a year. Compound means whatever you earned, it becomes it's added on to your original. So your original money keeps on growing. So the interest will be increasing every time, because the money to start, it gets more and more over time. Okay, different from simple interest. Simple interest, you always calculate your interest based on your original money. Okay, so every year what you earn is fixed. Okay, but this one, every year what you earn, it gets more and more. Okay, so here we want to derive an exponential function, a formula, okay, for the total amount of money. So here I made the chart, okay, the title on the top, first column is for the year, right? Year 0, so, and the number of time interest is calculated. So if it's at the beginning, year 0 means beginning, so there's no interest calculated, right? So I put 0 there. A of 0 means the amount, A for amount at 0 year, okay? So at the beginning, I have 1,500 because there's no money there. Okay, any questions so far? All right, so after 1 year, right, because calculate interest once a year, so it will be calculated once. So amount of money after 1 year will be 1,500 added with 1,500 times 0.065 because of the interest rate. So this part is the interest in the bracket, okay? And because both terms has 1,500, so I'm going to factor out. So it becomes 1 plus 0.065. Okay, so this amount is called the A1. All right, can you raise your hand if you follow up to here? And let's get a calculator, okay? So can you guys please take out the calculator and help me calculate the total amount after 1 year? Right, and please raise your hand if you have a number for this amount. Okay, Sophie, how much do you get?
1,597.5.
97.5?
Yeah.
Okay. Evan, how about you? Do you have the same?
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone can try it out, okay? So this amount will be your new amount, right? So you can see compared to beginning, right? You earn $97, 97.50 more, right? So you add it on to your original and use that as your beginning amount to calculate the next year's. So 2 years later, then you would use 1597.50, right? And then do the same thing as your new beginning, right? Times it by, sorry, okay. Let me rewrite it, okay? Plus 1597.5 times 0.65, 0.065. Right, I'm doing the same thing as before, right? except your beginning amount is larger now, right? So of course I can also factor out and then have, and once again, 1 plus 0.065. Do you follow so far? Basically the same thing. All I did is change the 1500 into the new amount, right? And then we know that the 1597, right, 1597, this amount is the same as this, right? You see the yellow highlight. So I'm going to replace this part where I put the red start with the 1597.5. So that will make the 1500 to appear, right? Times it by 1 plus 0.065. But then there's another bracket again, so it'll become square. Okay, can you raise your hand if you understand where the square come from? Anyone doesn't know where the square come from, let me know. Then I will write it out. Okay, because the 1597 already has a bracket, right? Times another bracket, give you the square. Angela, Chris, CZ, Evan, Jocelyn, any question about where the square comes from? Okay, so you can see that if it's 2 years, it will be square. So if it's t year, right, 3 years will be 3, right? The pattern will continue. So we have this formula, 1500. Well, I shouldn't write well, for this one, it will be 1500. 1 plus 0.065, and then to the t, right? So you can use that to calculate any years you like. So everyone, please take out the calculator. Let's calculate how much money will be in the bank after 20 years. Okay, so we'll be finding A of 20. So 1500, right? Your beginning amount times 1 plus 0.065 to the exponent of 20. Okay, so please type it in and find the value. Raise your hand when you got an answer for this. Should be around $5,000. Okay, raise your hand if you have the numbers. Okay, Daniel, what's the answer?
5,285 and 47 cents.
Okay. Callum, how about you? You have the same?
I also have the same.
Okay. Yeah, so you can see that without, like, with the deposit, right? After 20 years without doing anything, it quadruple, right? 3 times more, right? At least. Right, so this is for annually. compounded annually, right? This is the keyword, meaning once a year. The bank will pay you interest once a year. Okay, because when you put the money in the bank, it's kind of like you lend your money to the bank so they can collect all the money they have from everyone and then do some investment. Okay, and then the bank will earn the money and give you something back as well. Right, so let's look at the next example at the bottom here. Same amount to start with, right? And also the same interest rate. But this time it's compounded semi-annually, right? Semi-annually. So this means twice a year. So it's like every 6 months, okay? 6 months the bank will give you money, right? Another 6 months will give you money again. So if they are doing that, it won't be fair if they give you the same amount of money like before, right? Because otherwise everyone will choose the semi-annually instead of annually, right? So when they give you the money more frequently, right, give you 2 times a year, then they will cut the interest rate in half, make it lower. So each time you get less, but then you get paid more frequently. Make sense? Right? Kind of balancing out. Right? If you get paid once a year, then you get higher interest rate. If you get paid 2 times a year, you get lower interest rate. Okay, so let's find out which way is better for this one. Depending on the interest rate, okay, sometimes one is better. So with the beginning part is the same, right? Start with 0. And then beginning amount is 1,500 still, right? So after 1 year, the number of times interest is calculated will be 2, right? Because after 1 year, they will pay you twice. Okay. So if that happens, you still with have 1,500, right? We'll borrow the idea that we have here. Look at the red star, okay? The red star up there. After factoring, right, you will have 1 plus 0.065, right? Because we know it's gonna be the same thing. But then because it's 2 times, so it'll be squared. But because the bank doesn't want to lose the money, so they will cut the rate in half. Okay. So 0.065, 6.5%, you have to cut it in half. Lower interest rate, but then you get paid twice. Right? Can you raise your hand if you understand where the divided by 2 and the 2 comes from? Okay, so of course this will give you some amount. Okay. Okay, raise your hand if you understand up to here. Calum, Evan, Jenny, any questions? Why we divided by 2? So if it's monthly, then you will have 12, right? Because 12 times a year, they pay you every month. Okay, Jenny, no problem. Right, so over here, if it's 2 years later, it'll be 4, right? So the amount, 1,500, will be 1 plus 0.065, 4 times, right? And then the amount, the interest rate, right, will still be 2. Because 4 years. Interest rate won't change, okay? So I shouldn't use same color, right? Because 2 times. 2 years, 1 year will be 2 times, 2 years will be 4 times, but interest rate is cut in half. Cutting half is because of the semi-annually. Okay. Pay you 2 times a year, so interest rate cut in half. That one stays the same. So based on this pattern, right? If it's 3 years, then exponent will be 6. 3 years will be 6, 4 years will be 8, right? Because it's 2 times a year. Okay. So if we continue this pattern, right? If it's t years, it'll be 2t. Right? Double, right? Based on the pattern. So if we write out the formula, it will be 1500, 1 plus 0.065 over 2 for this one. This one is 2 because it's semi-annually. If it's monthly, you will put 12, okay? And then the exponent will be 2t. So 20 years later, so A of 20 will be 1500, 1 plus 0.065. The interest rate cut in half, and then 20 times 2. Okay, so basically, once you have the formula, it's just calculators work, right? Just make sure you plug it in correctly. All right, so let's compare the amounts. Please raise your hand once you got the amount for this one. Okay, Eric, what's the number you got? Eric, how much do you have?
Hold on. I think it's a bit weird because my calculator wrote the number in a weird way.
Okay.
Let me read. Oh wait, no, it's fixed now. Okay, it's $5,186 and then 33 cents.
$5,133.
$86 and then 33 cents.
Okay, it's different from what I have. Be careful when you plug in the exponent. Exponent will be 40, right? Because 20 times 2. And make sure you have brackets. Sophie, what do you have? No. Okay, so you have 5391.30. Yeah, okay, so that's the correct one. 5391.30. Eric, have you found out the mistake?
Yeah, I accidentally typed in a 1 instead of a 2 for the 0.0325.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so can you raise your hand if you have the same numbers? Okay, you need to make sure you know how to operate your calculator. Okay, Chris, any trouble getting the same answer? Okay, yeah, so now let's write down the general formula, okay? Depending on the interest rate, right? So the money can change. and depending on how frequently the bank will pay you, okay? So the formula for compound interest, okay, let's write it, let's see, okay. Might need to squeeze a little bit, right? So A of t means the amount after t years. You need to start with some principal amount, your original money. So in this case, it's the 1,500. 1 is always there because of the factoring, right? I is the interest rate, but make sure you're put it in decimal, divided by n. N is the number of time is being compounded, okay? Number of compounding period per year. Later we'll write it out, okay? And then to the n times t. Okay, so let's write the meaning first, okay? So this part is the amount after t years, okay? And then the P is the principal, not principal, POE, principal amount, which means the original money, okay? And then the I is the interest rate. In decimal. Okay, because usually they will give you in percent, you have to turn into decimal, okay? And then T, of course, is the time, right? And it's in years. And then the N, most importantly, is the N. What does the 1 mean again? So the 1 came from the factoring. If you look at the chart here, right? Let me circle it. The 1 is because we factor out the 1,500, okay? That's why it's the 1, right? If I multiply the 1,500 in, you get the original, right? Multiply the second one, you get the second part. Make sense, Kedem? Kedem, you got it? So, yeah, so the 1 is, if you want to know like what it actually means is like the original amount, right? The P times the 1 give you the original, the principal. Okay, and then the N is the, okay, very tight space. Okay, I'm gonna write it on the top here. Okay, N is the number of compounding period per year. Okay. Please raise your hand if you copy down everything. Then I'll explain what this means, okay? Compounding period. Okay, please raise your hand if you copy down everything. So if it's annually, right? Annually, the compounding period means 1 year. That's what it means. Compounding period is how long it takes to get the money, right? So annually means 1 year. So number of compounding period, if it's annually, is once, right? You only get money once a year, the interest once a year. So N will be 1, okay? if you have semi-annually, then your compounding period is 6 months. So that means you get money twice a year, right? 2 times a year. So N will be 2. Okay, so that's the example we did, right? So there are other scenario if it's quarterly. Quarterly means every 3 months. So every season. So N will be 4. Okay, and then another one could be the monthly. Then N will be 12. Okay, of course you can have daily, then 365. Okay, so these are the common words. Okay, annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly. All right, so make sure you have these ones, okay, written down as well. Okay, so raise your hand if you got everything here and no questions. So very straightforward. You just need to know what numbers to put into where, okay? And then just punch into the calculator and should be fine. So in the homework, I'll be giving you different compounding period and you try to find the amount, okay? So you can see the time is in the exponents. So that's why it got to do with the exponential function, okay? Right, so we are just right on time. All right, if you don't have any questions, I will see you guys next week. And if you're still missing the homework, okay, please stay after class. All right, you guys have a good weekend. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jason.
bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay, and Eric, I will still need your homework and yeah, I think everyone else. Okay. And Evan, yeah. Okay, yeah, Susan, you have questions, right?
Can you explain how we type it into the calculator? Because my numbers are off when I type it in.
Okay, does your screen show what you typed?
I don't know how to type in the exponent.
Usually the button will look like, because I can't really see your calculator. So somewhere it will look like this, X to the N.
I have an X to the Y.
Yeah, X to the Y will work, yeah, okay. So if, for example, you can try it out. You can try type 2 and then press the button and then type 3. See if you get 8.
Yes.
Okay, then that's your exponent button.
But when I type in the equation, the number's really big.
Okay, so for example, did you get the this amount, the 5285?
No.
Okay, so we'll try this one first, okay?
Okay.
So you type in 1 plus 1, type in the 1 in the bracket first. What do you get?
Oh, in the bracket. Okay.
Yeah, we follow the order of operation, okay? So you have 1.065, right? You type that,
Uh-huh.
right? And then you type your exponent button, right? And then you type in 20,
Uh-huh.
okay? And press equal.
I got 1.
Yeah. Oh, well, oh, because I guess it's too big, right? It's okay. Don't clear that, okay? And then times it by, right? Times it by 1500. What do you get?
Times 1,500.
Yeah. Oh, no change, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Does your screen show, like, are you able to type the whole thing in? Like does it show up what you type?
No.
Okay. Okay, let's see. You get 1. Huh? I guess your calculator rounds it up for you. Because you're supposed to have decimals. 1.065. Let me try. Oh, I don't get 1. I get 3 point something though. Can you try one more time? 1.065 to the 20.
Mm-hmm.
I got 3.5236. Do you have that?
I'll try a different calculator.
Yeah. Try the one on your phone.
I tried the one on my phone, but it doesn't work.
Okay, you have a different calculator then?
Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah. Hi there.
When it for question 2 on page 110, when it
Oh.
doesn't say like for the log, if it doesn't have a number under it, that means it's just 10 automatically, right?
Yeah, base will be 10. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Jason, I got it.
Oh, so you have 3.5236.
Yes.
Okay, and then that number you times it by 1500.
And I got the answer.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so do the same thing, right? So for this one, you do the thing inside the bracket first, and then do the exponent, and then times it by the principal. Okay?
Got it.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.